Well, folks, we are having a little bit of problems with our Dr. G theme. But for tonight's guest, you may be familiar with the 2013 case, which made national headlines when Lamont Maurice L. was labeled a quote unquote squatter. He underwent extreme character assassination in the media and endured 5 years of false imprisonment for making a lawful adverse claim to his inherited ancestral state by treaty right. Well, they didn't know what they were doing because Brother Lamont Maurice L. was able to use that time in captivity to sharpen his constitutional law enforcement knowledge and skills. Tonight, and he's been a guest on this show several times, but tonight he is going to discuss how do you identify yourself, driver's license or national identity card. I want to welcome back for I don't know what number time this is to Office Hours with Dr. G, Consular General Lamont Maurice L. Welcome. Well, whoops, there you are. Welcome. I don't know what happened to our music, but
I was just about to ask for the music.
The show it wouldn't play. So, it is what it is, but we are here. I know a lot of folks love the music. I like it too. Yeah. But since it wouldn't play, I'll figure it out. Maybe it'll play at the end. But tonight, I think that the subject matter is very, as they say, apropos. Given what is allegedly coming about as of May of 2023 with this.
Yeah, it was 2022. Then they pushed it back to 2023. It's the Real ID Act.
Right. That act was enacted in 2005, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And so they've been threatening, if you will, to telling us that this thing was coming up, and it was. Let me just read this. The Real ID Act was passed by Congress in 2005. It enacted the 9/11 Commission's recommendation that the federal government, quote unquote, set standards for the issuance of sources of identification, such as driver's license. The act established minimum security standards for license issuance and production. And it says, I don't know what it prohibits some stuff, but you're going to talk about that tonight because this seems to be a subject that, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in the kitchen and the dog is down here too. This seems to be I'm going to do the introduction and then I'm going to take my 13-year-old blind dog upstairs and put him in the crate. But anyway, this seems to be a subject of interest to many. Because some folks are able to use nationality cards for identification and all the kind of cards that are being made. Others are not being able to use. So talk to us about that. I'm gonna put you on solo for just a second so you could tell us about that, and I'm gonna go take my boy upstairs.
Okay. Well, first, before you go, I wanted to do the screen share because I want to start off with subsection 1508. So
okay. Oh, wait, okay, we gonna screen share right here, and let's get that.
Okay.
So when you bring up the page, do you see it?
Okay. It's saying window.
Yeah, so you have to determine whether or not you're going to be sharing your pay. I guess it comes up and gives you the option.
Yeah, I see it. And I want to use this one. Okay, share. Okay. All right. Are we sharing?
Yes, we are.
And okay, so we have on the screen the United States Department of Justice archive. If you notice at the top left-hand corner,
Oops,
It
I'm
says
trying.
an official website of the
Wait,
United States
wait a minute,
government.
just a minute.
Huh?
I put you on solo, and when I put you on solo, it
Oh, is
wouldn't
it
let me.
doing
The screen
me?
share. So I'm gonna walk away, y'all. I'll be back. Go ahead.
Okay, so we are still sharing. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
you are.
All right. At the top left-hand corner, it says an official website of the United States government. So, of course, you know they're speaking de facto. What we're looking at is the Department of Justice Criminal Resource Manual. I have it highlighted right here. It says Criminal Resource Manual in blue. This subsection is 1508, specifically mentioned identification documents, and it's explaining pretty much 18 USC United States Code 1028. And it reads, subsection 1028 of Title 18 designates three special non-federal identification documents and gives them preferred treatment. These three documents, in the absence of a national identity card, and I'll leave that highlighted for a second, are the prime means by which an individual establishes his identity in the United States. The three documents are A, birth certificate, B, driver's license, and C, personal identification card. Now, it's pretty much saying in the first paragraph, if you are not identifying yourself with a national identity card, then these three special non-federal identification documents are given preferred treatment. So when you go to A, birth certificate, it reads, birth certificate is not defined in 18 USC subsection 1028 since it is self-explanatory. This document is issued by different agencies in different states and foreign countries. Nevertheless, it represents the official governmental statement by the proper government agency that a person having such a name was born on a particular date in a particular place of specific parentage. Obviously, a birth certificate is not intended to actually identify the person who claims such a document pertains to him. So right there in that sentence that I have highlighted, it says obviously a birth certificate is not intended to actually identify the person who claims such a document pertains to him. Once again, this is the United States Department of Justice Archive website. So, continuing, there are few physical characteristics that remain the same as those at the time of birth. Nevertheless, the birth certificate has become, quote unquote, commonly accepted. They're quoting something as an identification document in this country. So they told you right there on the website, the birth certificate is not it's not an identification document. So we're going to be driver's license is not defined in 18 USC subsection 1028. The original purpose of this government issued document was to state that a particular person, and notice how they keep using the term person, was authorized to operate a vehicle upon the public roadways. It was not intended to establish one's identity. Because of the absence of a better document, what would the better document be? The better document is listed in this first paragraph, the national identity card. It says, because of the absence of a better document, however, the driver's license eventually has become, quote unquote, commonly accepted as the quote unquote national identity card. Section 1028 covers both domestic as well as foreign government issued driver's license. So they're letting you know in A and in B, subsection 1028 of Title 18 is it's basically defining the driver's license and birth certificate, but it's not specifically defined in 18 USC 1028. They're referring to it though. It's covering the birth certificate, driver's license, and the last but not least, personal identification card, which is defined in 18 USC subsection 1028 D4 to mean an identification document issued by a state or local government solely for the purpose of identification. This definition would appear to limit such document to those issued by domestic, i.e., within the United States, governmental entities, in contrast to the first two, birth certificates and driver's license. This document is normally issued by state departments of motor vehicles to provide an identification document for those persons. Once again, they're not qualifying persons for a reason, because there's natural persons, then there's artificial corporate persons. For those persons who do not, for some reason, obtain a driver's license. In 1979, the National Committee on Uniform Traffic Laws and Ordinances, authors of the Uniform Vehicle Code, provided for the issuance of identification cards for non-drivers and restrictions on the unlawful use of such cards. The UVC, which serves as the model state code for vehicular matters, defines a personal identification card as a document issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles for the sole purposes of identifying the bearer and not authorized for use as a driver's license. So we're going to go to now 18 USC subsection 1028. Since the birth certificate, driver's license, and personal identification card is covered under 18 USC 1028 and 1508 of the Criminal Resource Manual, which is under the Department of Justice, I guess, de facto jurisdiction. This is what they issued in regards to people that are in the absence of a national identity card. All of this is going to tell you exactly what you're doing when you attempt to identify yourself with either one of these documents. So we're now on 18 U.S. Code or United States Code 1028. Fraud and related activities in connection with identification documents, authentication features, and information. A, whoever in a circumstance described in subsection C of this section, 1, knowingly and without lawful authority, produces an identification document, authentication feature, or a false identification document. Now, these terms are highlighted for a reason. We're going to click on false identification document. Now, before we do that, I'm going to remind everyone of, where did it go?
I'm not sure if we're looking at, I thought we were looking at the same thing.
It didn't switch screens?
No, it didn't.
Okay, so how do I do that? I just thought I just
click on the next screen or the next.
Okay, well, before I go there, just want to remind everybody, it says commonly accepted. Remember, they're quoting commonly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to 18. So you said view tab. Let me see. Wait, stop sharing. All right. Now I'm about to share again.
Okay.
I know I'm going a long way, right?
It's all right. As long as you get it, as long as you get it out there.
All right, here we go. All right. So we got 18 USC 1028 on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is fraud and related activities in connection with identification documents, authentication features, and information. A, whoever in a circumstance described in subsection C of this section, 1, knowingly and without lawful authority, produces an identification document, authentication feature, or a false identification document. As I stated before, these terms here are highlighted. for a reason. And we're going to click on false identification document because it gives the definition. So now the source of this link is right here on the right side, Title 18, USC, subsection 1028D4. So this is what it says on the 4. The term false identification document means a document of a type intended or commonly accepted. This is what they were quoting on 1508, where it says birth certificate and driver's license, as well as personal identification card, commonly accepted for the purposes of identification of individuals that A, is not issued by or under the authority of a governmental entity or was issued under the authority of a governmental entity, but was subsequently altered for purposes of deceit, and B, appears to be issued by or under the authority of the United States government, a state, a political subdivision of a state, a sponsoring entity of an event designated by the president as a special event of national significance, a foreign government, a political subdivision of a foreign government, or an international government or quasi-governmental organization. So here you see that those instruments that we are attempting or we were trained to use as identification documents are actually false identification documents. They are false because, according to what 1508 stated, they are not national identification documents. They do not identify anyone who claims such a document pertains to them. So, stop sharing. Let me see.
So let's stop right there. Okay. So I don't know how many years, again, you may have said it, that the driver's license has been in effect, but we've been issued state issued we've had state issued, I've had state issued driver's license since I was 18, and they had driver's license before that. So those were not true identification instruments, although we were required to bring in birth certificates, different things that you had to. I mean, I know that literally you could bring a birth certificate in because it doesn't have your picture on it, because you don't look now when you're old enough to get a license like you looked like a baby. You could be someone else. Yes, right. Yeah, you could be. I mean, short of some kind of DNA archive that they took at birth, yeah, that they matched at the time that you were actually literally going to get some kind of identification, anybody can falsify, right, a document and say that they're, that they are they. But they've been issuing these things for millennial, if I'm just gonna say it, I mean, just lots of years. What is it that now makes with this 9/11 commission, because we know that's a bunch of we know what 9/11 is about, but what with the 9/11 commission would have precipitated them to now say that their previous forms of identification were not real, and that whatever
that is they're not saying that now. You're talking about what 1508 says?
Yeah. So what we get from what we've been thinking was identification to needing a real ID.
It's actually classification. Okay. And I'll show you. We'll go to a congressional record. I always like going to the facts. I'm gonna do screen share again.
Receipts.
Yeah, I got receipts. So we're going to go to the website, our website, enforcetheconstitution.org, and we're on the web page, Morocco Consular Court. Is it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the first PDF on that web page is a congressional record, which is the letter from the Secretary of State on the subject of citizenship, expatriation, protection abroad. This letter is dated August 3rd, 1906. I want us to look at the timeline real quick. It will show, if you Google Kingdom of Morocco founded, it'll say 1956. So the Kingdom of Morocco was founded in 1956, 50 years after this letter was issued. So you already know they're not talking about the Kingdom of Morocco when they refer to Morocco. They're actually going to express the Morocco that they're referring to, because the Kingdom of Morocco is an appendage to Morocco. That's why of is between kingdom and Morocco. That's the preposition. So it reads, sir, there are strictly speaking, well, wait, I'm a zoom in. There we go. Sir, there are strictly speaking no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. So they just identified the Moorish Empire, the Moroccan Empire, also called Maghrib al-Aqsa, Morocco, the extreme west. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instructions that it is not the desire of the department, and they're referring to the Department of State, to call for a report upon such lines, I will therefore confine these remarks to general conditions existing, which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. 1, citizenship in Morocco. They're talking about the empire. May be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure, that means by the operation of law, as Moorish subjects. 2 and 3, Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. That includes the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787, which was superseded by the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. So when they say naturalized in or protected by, we already know naturalization is for foreign hybrid European colonists that don't have a nationality to a nation in regards to being on this land. They had to be naturalized. They had to be brought in. They had to be adopted and clothed with citizenship. So naturalization and nationalization is two different things. When they say that Moorish subjects that are protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire, they're referring to the term stateless persons. And this is what I mean when I say, if you try or you attempt to identify yourself with the with the driver's license, birth certificate, or personal identity card, which is the non-driver's license issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles, the same agency that issues the driver's license, the commercial driver's license, then you are not identified, you're classified as a Moorish subject. That term is also called stateless. And let me try to switch the tabs and see if that works. All right, did it work?
No,
did it pop up?
It's the same one.
Same one. Okay. Long way. Do it real fast. All right, because I got the hang of it now. So we're going to the Black's Law Dictionary, 8th edition. And we're going to look up the term. Here we go. We're going to look up the term stateless persons. Is it on the screen?
It's coming. Yeah, here we go.
Right. So stateless persons, this is a international law term. A natural person who is not considered a national by any country. The Stateless Persons Convention, 1954, provides these peoples with certain protections. There's the protections. And obliges them to abide by the laws of the country where they reside. So the stateless persons is who's mentioned right here. One more time. They are mentioned in the Consular Notification and Access Manual, which was issued by the United States Department of State. This is the 5th edition, September 2018. This is the instructions manual for federal, state, and local law enforcement and other officials regarding foreign nationals in the United States and the rights of consular officials to assist them. The term stateless persons is used in this manual for the individuals that have failed or is absent of a national identity card. So right here it says questions about foreign nationals. Who is a foreign national? Answer, for the purposes of consular notification and the instructions in this manual. A foreign national, is any person who is not a U.S. citizen. So they just identified the foreign citizenship being anyone who is not a U.S. citizen. So when in the Secretary of State letter, it says those who cannot prove foreign citizenship, they would be the ones that prove foreign citizenship would be classified under consular jurisdiction by the United States representatives as foreign nationals. Then it says there are rare situations in which a person is neither a U.S. citizen nor a foreign national, i.e., is stateless. In such consular notification requirements do not apply because stateless is not an identity. Stateless is a classification. And if you fail to prove your foreign citizenship, and you can't prove protection by any law if you don't prove your identity, then you are classed as a Moorish subject, which is a stateless person. And a Moorish subject comes subject to Article 6 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836. Right here we have the Library of Congress photo duplication of the certified copy of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836. So we're scrolling down to Article 6 so that we can see what they're talking about when they say Moorish subjects. It says Article 6, if any more, not a subject of these dominions, shall make prize of any of the citizens of America or their effects and bring them into any of the ports of his majesty, they shall be immediately released, as they will then be considered as under his majesty's protection. That means there are Moors that are subjects of these dominions that can be made prize of any of the citizens of America or their effects. That means their estate. And there are Moors that are not subjects of these dominions. Those Moors that are not subjects of these dominions are the Moors that can, according to the Secretary of State letter, prove foreign citizenship and prove protection. And foreign does not mean the land. Foreign, this is what foreign means. And then I'll hold off on the screen share.
Okay.
This is what foreign means according to the Black's Law Dictionary. Let me make sure I go to the right one before I click on. All right, the 5th edition. Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. Where we at? Okay. I'll give it some time to load up. Let me know when it's up.
It's up.
All right, foreign. It means belonging to another nation or country, belonging to or attached to another jurisdiction, made, done, or rendered in another state or jurisdiction, subject to another jurisdiction, operating or solvable in another territory. Solvable, they're talking about the disputes, the cases, the controversies that are diversity of citizenship. Foreign. solvable in another territory, extrinsic, outside, extraordinary. Foreign also means, check this out, non-resident person, corporation, executor, etc. Foreign means you're not playing their game. Foreign deals with jurisdiction, not land. So foreign has been defined, not identified. Foreign has been defined as dealing with jurisdiction. So when they say prove foreign citizenship and you prove that you are a foreign national, not foreign to the land, but foreign to the United States, which is foreign to the United land. And the United States, let me classify the United States that I'm referring to, is the United States Corporation Company, which is a trading company. You are foreign to that jurisdiction. So, in a nutshell, you would have to prove foreign citizenship and prove protection. The way you prove foreign citizenship is with the national identity card, and that's shown by the reference Department of Justice Criminal Resource Manual, subsection 1508, as well as it would be Article 4 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, where it says a signal or a pass shall be given to the vessels belonging to both parties by which they are to be known when they meet at sea. So if you have signals are flags and display of lights. When you have pass is a permission, which includes driver's license and passport. So you choose. You either identify or you are classified.
Well, the rights of indigenous people gives us the right to self.
Yes, it doesn't give, it secures that unalienable right. Yes,
that we.
And the reason being is because those principles are universal all around the world. If you were at Dubai and you was to be charged, according to their, if they do have traffic laws, you would want to prove your foreign citizenship. If you were at Russia, or if you were at Ukraine, or you were at any of those other jurisdictions, those same principles apply. You have to prove your foreign citizenship, that you're foreign, your nationality is foreign to that jurisdiction, and then you have to prove your protection. Proving your protection is you being protected by the treaty between the two jurisdictions that includes the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. You would prove your protection in the articles of those treaties. So those principles are universal all around the world.
Exactly, and because you know what comes to mind when you're saying that foreign jurisdiction, I'm thinking about the WNBA player Brittany Griner, who's in custody for the last 4 months or so in Russia for I guess she had some I don't know whether she had weed or she had vaping product, I think, in her luggage, and now they're holding her over for 6 more months before they even have a trial. But is the jurisdiction, because it's United States and that's the corporation, is that why they're not even having and what's going on?
The Black Code is universal. The Black Code is used all around the world. And that's why Noble Drew Ali put that divine warning out in the divine warning by the prophet for the nations, where it says those who fail to recognize the constitutional laws of their free national constitution are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. That's why he said that, because that's a universal warning. If you fail to be in honor of your ancient foremothers and forefathers, then you are not considered to be heritable, meaning the course of descent of your birthrights and your inheritance is broken by the corruption of your blood. And that is in the definition of escheat, When you speak corruption, then that means the information that's stored into your bloodstream, which is known as your DNA, your blood, is corrupted. And that's why they say anything you say can and will be used against you. That a principle applies all around the world. You know, honor your foremothers and your forefathers, that your days be long upon the earth land that the Lord thy God Allah have given thee. If you are in dishonor, then you are misused, abused, and exiled.
Wow.
So it's not necessarily a discrimination. It is birthright theft, but it's also on our side birthright abandonment. And ignorance of that law does not excuse you. Just like if you left $100 on the ground, you know, whether it be in fiat or silver, and you didn't know that that $100 was yours, somebody else has a right to claim it until you claim it. That's called the law of abandonment, and that's international.
So what are the implications going forward for those who want to pull themselves as a out of, anyway, they want to get out from under this jurisdiction? They're trying to get nationality cards, and there's different cards out there that it's that folk have. Some work, some don't work, from things I've heard. But it seems to me, with such fragmentation in the Moorish diaspora, I'm going to say it like that because we're everywhere, that there's so much fragmentation that when they say it says national card, it seems like they would be looking for expecting a standard from that. Okay, if that's the nation, if it's the Moorish nation, then every Moorish card says the same thing or has the same information, and we know that that's not the case. So how does one who's paid their fiat to get cards and paperwork validated and so forth, sealed, how do they proceed, especially given whatever changes are coming up? So some folks still have their the state identification, the state driver's license. Yeah. So we know that some cases when folks have not been able to travel with their nationality, if they look up something else, right? What happens?
So I can tell you right now, the difference in the national identification cards that are being issued is only the words. It's pretty much a document. It's just that document is a plastic card, but the words on the document is what tells if the document is valid or not. You know what I'm saying? Some people use certain terms and they don't know what these terms mean. I would say this, Taj Tariq Bey, Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, said for me to, he advised me to share this with the members of our civic organization in regards to nationalization. He said, nationalization is a multi-level process. The publication of the legal notice and judicial proclamation and the obtaining of a national identity card is the beginning of the rite of passage to come back into the universal principles of civilization. But nationalization itself is the exercise of the consciousness and the demonstration of your national principles and standing in all walks of life. That's why Noble Drew Ali said, I'm looking for active Moors and not passive Moors, because to be nationalized is to be active. They don't know that you're nationalized by you displaying a national identification card and you having posted on the public record a legal notice and judicial proclamation. That's the first step. That's basically showing the world that you are awake. But now that you're awake, you got to prove it. And when they say prove foreign citizenship and prove protection, that's pretty much the three issues of law. First being status. Second being jurisdiction and venue. So when you're proving your foreign citizenship, you're proving your status, you're proving your principles, right? And when you prove protection, you're proving the jurisdiction, the range of authority that protects you in the exercise of whatever the subject matter is. And the last issue of law, which is the third, is the adjudication on the subject matter. So, like, say, for example, if you wanted to dispute a alleged mortgage, which pretty much means dead pledge, you would do an affidavit of dispute. But first and foremost, you would prove and assert your status, which includes your you being a Moorish American, which is basically you being nationalized, a natural person, meaning you're not a corporate person, in full life, meaning you're not civilly dead, in propria persona, sui juris. That means you're in your proper person and you're acting on your own behalf and you're not legally disabled. So nationalization is that process. It's the demonstration of you being national and then you challenging whatever fraud or whatever deceit that they're trying to throw at you, because you read the Constitution and you've known that it is a trust agreement. You've read the treaty, you know it is also a trust agreement. And in order for you to be protected by that trust, you have to prove that you're an heir, because they both deal with heirship and heritability. That does not just mean you inherit the land, but you also inherit the right to travel. You also inherit the right to do commerce. You don't need a license to do business or a license to travel. All of that is permission, and that's permission given to the stateless persons that come protected under the Stateless Persons Convention.
So, there was a question I was trying to find it, but I know what it was. I think it was Sister Rose Reed. She had asked what nation, I can't find it, is protecting the Moors. I believe that's what it said. I'm trying to find it, but I saw that. But that's a good question.
What's the question?
What nation is protecting the Moors? I believe was, here it is. What nation
is protecting Moors? Morocco. The nation's called Morocco. It's also called Maghreb al-Aqsa or the Moroccan Empire, but it's Morocco for short. Kingdom of Morocco was founded in 1956. You can Google that. The Kingdom of Morocco was founded in 1956. And the word, if you know words, which we all supposed to be studying because that is our culture, to know language. The culture is in the language. If you know language, then you know of is the preposition that connects kingdom with Morocco. That's why it's called Kingdom of Morocco and not Moroccan Kingdom. You see what I'm saying? So that means Morocco is bigger than the kingdom. Or in other words, the kingdom is an appendage to Morocco. Morocco is an empire. So Morocco is the nation. What protect, and nation means mother. That's the mother that protects us. This mother, this land, Islam.
I get that. My question would be also, so if that is true, where is the active presence or the, we can't go. I mean, there's consulates and consuls. You got one, somebody else, they got this, but where is the seat of this empire? Where is the seat? Where are those in, I guess, position to make laws and rules and to extract its citizens? And where are they? I mean, where?
Great question. So I'm going to do a screen share, okay, and we're going to go to the Constitution for the United States of America under Article 4, Section 4. Because you're pretty much saying, well, where's the government, right?
That's it.
So this is Article 4, Section 4. And it reads, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government. The republican form of government is also termed republican government in the Black's Law Dictionary. So now we're going to go to the Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, and look up government. Under the term government, you're going to go down to Republican government. Now, they have the term Republican government defined in here, but you don't want to go to Republican government. You want to go to government, the highlighted government that's bold, and then under government, look for, you'll see federal government, you'll see local government, mixed government, and then Republican government. And this is going to tell you who the government is that you are seeking to find. The Republican government, one in which the powers of sovereignty are vested in the people and are exercised by the people either directly or through representatives chosen by the people to whom those powers are specially delegated. Now, in the DAR manual, and I'm not going to do screen share on that, you all can go to the DAR manual. It's on, you can Google DAR manual for citizenship and find it on the de facto government's website, United States de facto government, or you can go on study materials for Moors. That's on enforcetheconstitution.org. Click on the webpage, study materials for Moors. Scroll down to where you see DAR, D-A-R manual for citizenship. And when you get there, you're going to go to the page, responsibilities of citizenship. It's going to say through a Republican or representative form of government. So they're saying that you have a choice. Right here in the definition of Republican government, it says the powers of sovereignty, that is the executive, legislative, and judicial powers that the people would be delegated and to sit in the office. Those powers are vested in the people and are exercised directly by the people or through representatives chosen by the people to whom those powers are specially delegated. Now, we already know if you issue writ of quo warranto and you challenge the jurisdiction of the venue and command that a delegation of authority order be produced from Congress per Article 3 of the Constitution for the United States of North America as proof of them being delegated the judicial power to hear and decide cases. If they fail to produce that delegation of authority, then according to the Republican form of government, which is the people, the power is vested in the people to directly exercise the judicial power. So we are who we've been looking for. When I say we, I'm not limiting myself to me or just me and you, Dr. G, but we as the people. We are the ones that exercise those powers. And no, you don't have to be in an office to do it because the power is supposed to be exercised over your individual estate. The Constitution and treaty protects our estates, but we also protect our estates. That's what a Republican form of government is. It's either the people protects it or the people that the people put in office by way of delegation protects it. If they fail to protect it, we protect it. And that's what's demonstrated on the website, enforcetheconstitution.org, where it says traffic cases, foreclosure cases. That's basically an example of one being nationalized. You're nationalized by proving protection and proving your foreign citizenship. If you can prove that your birthrights, your inheritances are protected, then you're nationalized, along with proving your foreign citizenship. You are in fact nationalized. Thus and therefore, the fulfilling of chapter 1 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, where it says, man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yea, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. That means you have to demonstrate in order to get the birthright back. And that's the government. It's us. It's been us the whole time. It's been the people.
Well, so no wonder that there's so much, you know, so many that are out there trying to keep the people from coming together and being on one accord. I mean, there's so much discord that the
Yeah,
people will never, ever be able to achieve the government, the Republican form of government, in a fragmented state. In, you know, in a state, to me, what I see is equivalent to cancer in one's body. You've got a body where the cells are attacking, you know, bad cells are attacking good cells and eventually killing the entire body. Well, that is a microcosm to the macrocosm of the people ourselves as a unit, being, you know, like, you know, even you know, even on platforms such as these, you know, trying to get information to the people, some of which might or may not be relevant to everyone, but nevertheless, there's always someone out there listening that to them this has relevance or importance. But yet you will have folks that are disruptive and
yeah.
distracting, and, you know, just don't have anything else to do but to wait and see for something else to come. Something's happening that might be getting folks together from an information standpoint. There's always some monkey wrench thrown into it, and I don't know, with, you know, that for me is the frustrating part of this whole trying to get information to folks. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to get off the subject, but that's just my little rant, because you know, I'm doing, like, I'm patting my head and rubbing my belly. I'm listening to you. I'm trying to monitor the chat. You know,
But
I'm
see,
like,
those people going to tell on themselves. They're telling on themselves right now. All everybody got to do is pay attention to the individuals that's speaking against what Noble Drew Ali actually said, and we now have, and I'm of course I'm not the first one, and I'm definitely not the only one, but we have evidence on a website showing that the power has been vested in us the whole time, where people getting their property back, people having cases dismissed in regards to traffic, because those aren't even really traffic cases. But also, most importantly, people are traveling without a driver's license. People are traveling without license plates. And yes, if you go on the TSA website, I want to show this too. And before I forget, we're going to go on TSA, because a lot of people think that we need some type of special identification card to travel abroad. And did I even? Okay, let me go here. So I'm going to Google and I'm Googling TSA ID requirements. So right here, this is the TSA website. Wait, did it pop up?
yes.
Okay. So it says identification. At the top left-hand corner, it says official website of the United States government. Of course, you know they're talking de facto. Identification. So it says adult passengers 18 and older must show valid identification at the airport checkpoint in order to travel. The first thing they list is what the Department of Justice identified as non-identification documents that are given preferred treatment. As a matter of fact, all of these are not identification documents. And where it says an acceptable photo ID issued by a federally recognized tribal nation, Indian tribe, look what happens when you click on this link. Hold up. Click on federally recognized, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes you right here to the Federal Register, .gov, and it's titled Indian Entities Recognized by and Eligible to Receive Services from the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs. Everybody that has alleged identification cards and are identifying themselves as Indians, look at what you're saying. Indian entities. Are you an Indian entity? That sounds like a fictitious corporate person, because it is. It's another brand name. Now, when you go right here to the bottom, this is not a bullet point. See, they got all of these bullet points for identification. Then at the bottom, it says, in coordination with its DHS counterparts. Who's the DHS? That is the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security counterparts. Okay, well, that would be FBI, CIA, NSA, Homeland Security, who else? ATF, etc. The alphabet boys, including TSA. All of them come under the Department of Justice. Please don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. They all come under the Department of Justice. It says in coordination with its DHS counterparts, TSA has identified acceptable alternate identification for use in special circumstances at the checkpoint. I wonder what that is. That is the national identification card. What you can do is go to this website while you're at the airport, pull out your national identity card, identify yourself, and you don't identify yourself with your appellation and your the mailing location and all of that information. No, you are identified or known at sea, which is Admiralty and Commerce, per Article 4, by the signal at the top of your national identity card. That's how you are known when you meet any of the citizens of the United States at sea, even if they are doing business as or doing business in the name of a corporation. So you would meet them with your national identification card, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, because you're proving foreign citizenship and protection. And then you also can meet them with their own website and let them know that your national identification card would be considered acceptable alternate identification, because none of this identifies anything according to their boss, according to TSA's boss or their management headquarters, which is the Department of Justice, according to their criminal resource manual 1508. None of these instruments identify anyone. The instrument is the national identity card, and you are not absent of a national identity card. So we don't need it. Look, we have to basically stop giving their words full faith and credits and hold their words, including your words, up to the words in the Constitution and treaty, because those two documents are actually principles that predate those documents. They predate them. They come before them. So all you have to do is study. You just have to read, study, and then take that leap of faith. And faith meaning knowledge, not blind belief. I'm talking about faith, and just be what you know and see what happens.
Yeah.
I know I said it a lot.
Look,
They're going to show themselves. So everybody got to just pay attention to who they are. Pay attention to who they are, because they're going to have the answer to you.
I'm just following the course of the conversation, trying to figure out who's saying what, for what, because I'm running my little thing about, I'm asking nicely. I mean, not nicely. I'm asking graciously for folks to just respect the chat. Respect the chat. Respect each other and my guests, or you'll be blocked. Seriously, I just don't have it. Some folks like sensationalism. I don't, and everybody got a right to say what they got, that they, their own opinions. But if you guys don't like my channel and my content, skedaddle. That's all. You don't.
Dr. G, they working.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, it's just like if they don't. If everybody I bring on here that doesn't meet your, nobody pays me to do this. So if a guest is on here that you don't like, click over. There's a million other folks that are live streaming or got some stuff that's already going. Let the folks that want to hear. And if you are so good that you are a teacher, then hey, I think they let you on YouTube free, don't they? Instagram, YouTube. and all those
That's
things.
because what you're doing, Dr. G, is actually affecting their pockets because their processes is being exposed. We're not even trying to expose their processes. We're just
No.
talking about the truth and going over facts.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot. I mean, we wanted to talk about this subject matter in hopes that it would be, of value to those that are listening. And again, I say not everyone it can relate, and I get that. I get that. But I mean, I got bent over backwards trying to bring something that at least will be generally of general interest to folks. You know what I mean? And that, so the least they can do is just hold that other stuff. Just come on here. Let's stay in the subject matter. Let's stay in the subject matter so that those who came to really hear about it can hear about it. Right. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what they want. But and I say this with a smile. I mean, and I know folks are on here trying to be good that normally aren't good. I see them. They think I don't know that they on here. I'm so intuitive. I know who you are. I see you. I see what you even hide it. You try to be, you try to be coy about it, and I know it's you. So, I appreciate you trying, but I appreciate them trying.
Yeah, and the thing about these last days, what they call revelation, which everything is being revealed. Good thing about that is, the people that are like speaking what's on the inside of them, what's on the inside of their heart, is that they're going to be revealed. But the good thing is they're going to be revealed, and they're going to have to answer to the people. So when everything is revealed, they're going to have to answer to all of the stuff that they said prior. They're going to have to answer to us.
Here's one thing about me, brother Lamont. If I find out that I say something, and I've been like this from back in the day when I wasn't doing this, but I was standing behind a pulpit. If I ever taught or preached or said something that I later found out to be an error, I had to if I publicly told it, then I had to publicly
apologize
and apologize. And that's the place where, I mean, I have done that. I have trusted folk and allowed people to, and I give everybody the benefit of the doubt until you prove me otherwise. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take what somebody else says. And I mean, even down to the conversation that you and I had today earlier, we don't have to talk about it, but because it was on me. It was on me, and I was feeling some kind of way. But it was a good time for me to have that conversation with you, and I'm good now. You see what I'm saying? And because I know who I am, and not that I'm anybody special, but I'm known. So I want to stay in good graces with everybody. I don't ever want to like back off from people, and they go, well, what's wrong with what happened? Because she's not mentioning that, or she don't have them on the platform anymore. So I'm glad that Most High gave us the space to have that conversation and clear that up. You know what I mean? Yep. So when it comes to bringing this information, I know we're changing, but this is important to me that, if we're in this to win this, as a people, not individual, not folks getting paid, to make things, out of more than they are, but we are in it where all we want to do is see our people come back to, our original greatness. Then if that's what your goal is, we can work together, but we don't always have to agree 100%. But we don't have to cuss each other out. We don't have to defame each other. We don't have to try to scandalize or ruin reputations of folks just because we don't, or because we're not getting attention. Some of these folks are good researchers. They just not 100% thorough in some of the stuff that they put out there. Because I've seen stuff that I go, yep, that makes a whole lot of sense. But here's the thing, y'all. And I know we should change the subject, but I gotta write because it's my channel. When you say something about me, and I know damn well it ain't true, I notice there's something wrong with the information. You see what I mean? Because I don't know for a fact about what people say about other people, but I do know about me. So if I click on a channel and I see an expose and something about me, and I'm like, what? And I can imagine how big time people feel, when the paparazzi takes a picture or they write an article and I'm nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to do my part.
Yeah,
I just started a
and you're
platform.
doing it.
I had no idea that off House of Reawakening Minds platform would be as influential on a global scale, scale as it is. And that wasn't even my intent. Just bring the information. Just get the folk. I have trouble getting. This isn't big time. I can't get everybody on here. I would like to have a lot of different folks on here so that I'd have that variety. But they too big for me. Folks that they see, they're not going to come on this channel. I'm nobody. I don't have any finances to pay folks that come on here, come of your own free will. I run ads and try to support you guys, but this isn't about me. It's a bigger thing. It's when you know that you've been called to do something for the greater good of the people, then yes, it becomes a little frustrating, when folks want to get, crazy with it and try to, tear you apart or tear your guests apart. You do that on another, folks ought to be able to, we need to agree to disagree and keep it moving.
Yeah. They just basically revealing themselves for real.
Yeah.
Like it's just basically what's happening right now is either you're proving that you're in error and you're protected by the supreme law of the land, or you're not. And or you're in the process of learning how to prove. But at the end of the day, if you proved it, you're saved. If you've not proved it, it's going to show. Yes, it's going to show. You know what I'm saying? They're coming for your house. They're coming for your guns. They're coming for your liberties. And those that did not prove, all of that birthright is going to be taken away. Those that have proved, they're going to still have it. So they can talk all the trash they want.
We see stuff happening on a daily basis that should push us closer together. You know what I mean? Because the stuff is coming hot and heavy. It's coming quicker and quicker. So you don't know. Every day if you turn on the TV, you might want to peek a little bit. But I don't like mainstream media. But you want to peek a little bit because then you won't know totally nothing. But when you see it, please recognize what you're seeing. Recognize the signs and the of the times that we're living in, and recognize the desperation of those who have heretofore been in a position of authority, with my air quotes, over, the greater population by, calling themselves, who they do and an elite and putting themselves in. Those folks are desperate, and desperate people, but they say desperate times call for desperate measures.
Desperate measures.
And so they're every day, we're looking, and some other little, MK thing had been triggered to do something. And now we're all like, oh, we're looking at that, and it's a sleight of hand trick because over here, something
they have us paying attention to this while they do other things behind.
Yeah, and and we sit around having these silly little debates on social media when we should be using and then we got some butthole that keeps putting sex stuff up here. I'm like, come on,
that's called diversion. What you just explained. They want you to pay attention to that.
And if we weren't doing, if I wasn't doing, what was right, they wouldn't even mess with it. Wouldn't even mess with it. So I should shut up. Y'all, I am sorry. I'm not sorry. I apologize. I'm not sorry. So
yeah,
but
it's that's the fortunate part for everybody, that everybody's got to go through that rite of passage. Either whether you pay for a service, or for example, you go on a website and you look at the examples on the website and you pay attention to the examples. Either way, you have to pay. But first and foremost, you have to know that Drew Ali, and even in the Bible, it says every man, woman, and child must confess their own. You have to confess it. Even with the services that we offer to draft the documents for you and coach you in the enforcement process, but you still have to enforce it. You have to confess it. What they're going to do is they're going to continue to misclassify, not misidentify, misclassify you in these documents and send them to you in the name of the straw. And if you still are mentally like thinking that you're the straw man and you got to prove to them that you're not the straw man, then you're still colonized. That was literally a mind control. The black codes, where you know, people that call themselves black, that's short for black code. That's a mind control system. So everybody still thinks that, okay, I gotta prove that I'm not that individual. I'm not the straw man. I'm not the corporate person. No, you say who you are on an affidavit. Mm-hmm. Then you say your relationship with that corporate person, which is ex relation, meaning on the information of it. You are speaking on behalf of it as the authorized representative because you was authorized to do so. However, that's not you. And you don't need to continue to assert or file the legal notice and judicial proclamation and the national ID card in the record of the case to say, all right, look, that's not me. This is the common denominator that I found since the beginning of this year. Everybody that has a national ID card and attempts to travel, exercise their right of travel, but on file in the Department of Motor Vehicles, they still have a active driver's license. Mm-hmm. They get pulled over. The police ask them to identify themselves by producing the driver's license and proof of registration and insurance. And a lot of Moors, they produce their national identification card. You know what I mean? And what we do is we train Moors to do that. You don't give it to them, you display it. But you're not displaying the information on it. You're displaying the term or the words national identity card and the flag at the top. That's what you're displaying, and also the picture. But you're supposed to actually hide the information because that information is private. But you are, because you're known by the signal according to Article 4 of the treaty. You're known by the flag, the Moroccan flag. That's how you're known when you're met at sea. What I learned was everybody that still has an active driver's license, even though they don't have it on their person, the police will say, okay, that's not the name we have in our system. They always say that. They'll go sometimes, or most of the times, they'll go to the front of the car after you say, well, I'm actually exercising my right to travel or whatever. You just basically don't comply. They go to the front of the car. They scan the VIN number, they go back to their vehicle, and then they come back and they say, well, that's not the name that we have in our system. Or they'll say, they'll just let you know, well, you have a driver's license and the information that you're giving me is not the information we have in our system. So please show us your driver's license, because they know that you have it. If you still have one and you're exercising your right of travel, then you are literally still clinging to principles that allude to slavery, because the driver's license is listed as a false identification card. So you failed to identify. You failed to identify yourself. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And a lot of Moors are like, well, yeah, that didn't work. I can't exercise my right to travel. They just do what they want. No, you still have a driver's license. So what we did was we came up with the idea of having Moors surrender the driver's license. Surrender the driver's license, get the receipt, because the driver's license does not identify you at all. And now that we all in seen subsection 1508, you have a reference. You won't say, oh, Lamont Maurice L said. No, Lamont Maurice L pointed you to 1508. The Department of Justice said in their criminal resource manual that the national identity card is actually the identity card, not the birth certificate, not the driver's license, and not the personal identification card or non-driver's license issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles. Why would the Department of Motor Vehicles, that was established under the Motor Carrier Act, which deals solely with commerce, why would they issue an identification card? Oh, because you are in absence of one. So you're classed as a subject. And subjects can be made prized. That's what they're doing to us right now. When you get a gun license, they just made prize of your right to keep and bear arms, which is secured under the Second Amendment. When you get a driver's license, they just made prize by your consent. They just made prize of your right to be free from being, where it says under the Fifth Amendment, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. You just waived your right to due process by signing and consenting to a driver's license. So now they can deprive you of your liberty without due process, even though it's under color of law and they presume jurisdiction. They still have your consent.
What about, excuse me, what about, what do the Amish do that we can't do?
Nothing. They basically exercising their constitutional rights. They're not no special types of people. They just know how to read and they pay attention to what's going on. They know that the United States is not a nation or a country. They know it's a trading corporation. And they know that all laws consent. Consensus facit legem. That's the term. Consensus facit legem means consent makes the law. It's in the Black's Law, 4th and 5th edition. Consent makes the law.
But see, fear has been indoctrinated into the people.
Yep.
And so it's not, like they don't feel like they have, most folks don't feel like they have an option, but to, concede to whatever the so-called law it says, it is.
Yep.
I was listening to the radio today, for instance. I was listening to the radio today, and they were talking about how an old law has arisen, and I forgot what state it was, but it's here, not in Delaware, but here. And the law, a couple came out, and there was a fine on their car, their vehicle, in their, like, I guess a driver, like you drive up your driveway.
Yeah.
And there's a law on the books that you cannot park. They've been parking there. I think they said they've been living there 36 years. They parked on the pad leading up into their property, but the law says you can't park on a pad unless it is contiguous to a garage or a over whatever. And they fined them $1,500. And they told them they were going to be fined $250 a day for as long as they keep the vehicle parked on their, like your driveway. Now, that is some of the most ridiculous BS that I've ever heard. But
do you know why? Think about it. What do you use? What do you use the driver's license for in all instances? Identification. It's not just to travel. We use the driver's license to open up a bank account, to a house. You got to identify yourself, when you go to settlement, right?
Right.
Or when you go to get the loan from the bank, in order to get a loan, you need the driver's license, right?
Right.
So that instrument is used throughout every single commercial transaction we do. So that means you're not identifying, you're classifying. That's why you would say, oh, the law says that we can't park right here. You got to park right here. That's because you didn't use that driver's license to identify, and they classified you as a subject. And according to stateless persons,
whatever they say,
are obliged to, they're obliged to the color of law until those stateless persons declare their nationality and nationalize, which means be active. And everybody that's talking trash, why you not active? You're not active, be active. Like I'm like demonstrating, you know what I mean? And I'm helping people and training people to demonstrate. And those people that I've helped and trained, they're helping and training other people to demonstrate. But, a lot of other people, they're just talking, but they still have those same de facto debts that we are challenging. So at the end of the day, you're going to either show that your words are credible, or you're going to show that you was a hypocrite and a fraud. But that applies to both sides, because soon enough of us is going to have enough evidence of dismissed cases, even though they're not cases. But I mean, we got enough now on the website alone to competently come together, do a press conference, and not just me be the only one speaking, but all of us. Because Article 20 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 is in correlation with Chapter 25 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which is the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. Article 20 says, if a citizen of the United States or any persons under their protection shall have any disputes with each other, the consul shall decide between the parties. That's someone in consular court or a consular officer. And it says, and if the consul shall require any aid or assistance from our government to enforce his decisions, it shall be immediately granted to him. Who's our government? The Moroccan Empire. Where's the location of the Moroccan Empire? The northeast and southwest Africa, across the Great Atlantis unto the shores of North, South, and Central America. All of those nations, all of those kingdoms comprise what is called the Moroccan Empire, also called our government. So, how would you enforce the decisions that's made by you or by consul? You understand? You would make it public. Make it public. Then those investors, those international bankers that allegedly bought up the U.S. debt, they're looking into these quote unquote cases, quote unquote debts, and they see the record. If they see the record of you signing all rights reserved, the bond's dead. Or affidavit of dispute, writ of quo warranto, and it's part of the record, it's dead. This is why. This is why. And I'm going to do screen share. And let's see. We're going to go to Google. This is why. And we're going to look up the term archive. The definition of archive. Because it said on the website, United States Department of Justice archive, right? Archive. This is Google. And no, I don't suggest Google as a point of reference. Nevertheless, we'll use it for now because I already looked this up. Archive, they have it as a noun, a collection of historical documents or records.
Can you make it a little bigger?
Information. Huh?
Can you make your screen a little bigger because it's dark and it's...
Oh, wait a minute. I think this is... What is that? The private window. Why is it dark?
I don't know.
All right, you said make it bigger?
Yes, I thought,
okay.
Yeah, and it is dark, but it might be, yeah, there we could see it a little better.
Okay, bet. All right. It's a collection of historical documents or records providing information about a place, institution, or group of people. Group of people. All right, archive. We're going to the origin. Archive. Always go to the origin. If you go to Google, always scroll down and hit that that downward arrow. It'll say translation and more definition. Hit that and look for origin. Archive. It says Greek, arche, government. Greek, archaea, public records, all the way to archive, place where records are kept. Government and public records are synonymous. What does that tell you? When you make something public, that is governing the mental of what? Of whomever is a party to the subject matter and whoever has interest in the subject matter. So if you make public, what do they do in the newspaper classified sections? They make public what? Foreclosures or trustee sales.
Okay.
They got to make it public because the public record is the government. Now, what kind of government did the United States, did the United States Constitution sanction under Article 4, Section 4? A republican form of government. That is one in which the powers of sovereignty are exercised directly by the people. So the people makes their issues public. All of the issues that has to deal with diversity of citizenship, make it public. That's the government. That's key.
I remember talking, I believe Grand Sheik and I were talking about it. And he was explaining to me, early on, I'm trying to learn. I'm still trying to learn stuff, but this was early on about how the so-called government as we know it, um, there is supposed to be a service um, uh, corporation to provide services, say, for that republic form of government. In other words, this
Exactly.
you do this, you get to do this, and this. Not rule the people, but
Exactly.
service the people. If that is true, where and how, and even when was there a shift in duties where they're now governing the people with your life, your health, your
1871, the Organic Act of 1871 that Taj always talks about, which shows the coup d'etat, the overthrow of the republic, and then later 1933, the bankruptcy. So what they've been promoting is education, which means, what does it mean? Docility training for animals.
Mm-hmm.
So now they got our people saying we need education, and they're getting education. And connotative linguistics, so that our people won't know how to read. And if they don't know how to read, they don't know how to speak. Right. Thus and therefore, their language is corrupted, and anything they say can be used against them. That's what happened. So now they're using the people's consent against them. That's why they say anything you say can and will be used against you. That's because anything the state's attorney or the district attorney says don't mean crap, because that's the attorney. That's not the plaintiff. They need to get you to speak, because your words is the power. So they're using your power, your words against you. They tell you. So that means anything they say don't mean nothing. So anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Then they say, now we got you doing this, we got you doing that on camera, we got this evidence against you, we got all of that, so tell us what you know. Everything they just said didn't matter. Don't matter. They got to get you to say it. But the one thing they did get our people on is classification. You with the charging document, and most of the time they deprive you of your liberty, and in order for you to regain your liberty, they have you sign a bond, which is an appearance bond. They have you sign that. So that is your consent. If your consent expressed, all rights reserved, or under protest, or under threat, arrest, and coercion, that means you plan on coming back and attacking that instrument. But if you just signed it and that instrument says race black, they just classified you and you just signed and consented to it. Even though you don't speak on, oh yeah, they ain't got no evidence against me, so I'm good. They got you under black codes and you signed. You signed the appearance bond.
Wow.
You see, and you didn't rebut.
I spoke to his sister last week, and she may or may not be on here, but the interesting thing with her situation was she had leased a car, finished the end of the lease, and decided to purchase the car. I guess since then, her knowledge of being a Moor and how to sign things and so forth. Oh, there you are. Look, it's bright now.
Yes, I saw somebody comment. They was like, "You ain't pay your light bill."
Anyway, she decided to purchase the vehicle at the end of the lease, and this time when she purchased it, she signed all rights reserved. That whatever you write, sign. She signed that. The bank gave her the loan. She purchased the car. The dealership called her like a week later and said, "We need you to re-sign this because we can't take this with this across there. And basically, if you don't re-sign it, we're gonna take the car." But they already got paid because she got the loan.
They got the credit instrument,
right? But they want her to take that off of the document because
she's not abandoning her birthright. This is why. Let me show you. This is why right here. Because you have to express the abandonment. If you sign all rights reserved, you have standing in law. So I'm going to the term Fothman. I know the screen is not up yet. I'm just going to find it first in the Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. I'm going to the term Fothman. Okay, here we go. All right. All right. Fourthment. The instrument that she signed is called a Fourthment instrument right here. And it reads, the gift of any corporal hereditament to another. Corporal hereditament is something that can be physically inherited, operating by transmutation of possession. Dr. G, they couldn't do that. They couldn't transmute the possession because the Fourthment instrument said had expressed on it all rights reserved. So it's not a gift anymore. And then it says, and requiring as essential to its completion that such succession be passed, which might be accomplished either by investiture or by livery of succession. A gift of a freehold interest in land accompanied by livery of succession. The essential part is the livery of succession. Also, the deed or conveyance by which such corporal hereditament is passed. Now look what it says here. A fourthment originally meant the grant of a feud or fee. That's all your deeds. That's all your deeds of trust. That's all of the loan agreements, because they ain't loaning you nothing. Those are all Fourthment instruments to get you to abandon your estate.
Oh, wow.
And if you express all rights reserved on those instruments, guess what? You didn't abandon your estate.
And they don't go for that.
They don't want to, because they want you to abandon the estate, because they know they're not giving you anything. It's already yours.
Well, can they come and take something back because you refuse to?
That's called grand theft if they do that. And I know a few people that I'm not going to put out there that has expressed all rights reserved on their instruments. And they called them, like how you said with the sister, and was like, yeah, you got to remove this. You have to re-sign. And they ain't picking up the phone. Because they already know what time it is.
But would they have the right to just come and take something?
Nope, they can't. And if they try to, you better exercise your right to self-preservation. That's the first line of defense, your right to self-preservation. And that's what we have to get back into the mind state of. The heirship and heritability is the state of mind. It's a state of mind. It is a bloodline, but it's also a state of mind. Drew Ali said, go back to that state of mind of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. That state of mind is divine common sense. Proof that we were not in our right state of mind is going to the traffic court, what they call a traffic court, and seeing the caption of the case, State of Maryland versus Lamont Maurice Butler, the straw, right? And you come up, let's say, for example, I come up and I got my attorney, then you got the state's attorney, but there's no state. There's no one standing as the state of Maryland. However, we actually believe we're being charged with a crime or under traffic law, or even if it's some type of domestic crime, child support, foreclosure, where it's Wells Fargo versus you, right? But in actuality, that's fraud, because Wells Fargo is some invisible friend of the state's attorney or the attorney. Like, that is proof that we, according to law, are ignorant of the fact that, or we're ignoring the fact that there is no plaintiff. There's no plaintiff. It has to be a plaintiff. Somebody has to accuse. You have to be just like if you was in first grade. If somebody said, yeah, man, my friend said you stole his lunchbox. Where's your friend? How's the caption of the case? My friend versus you. And then here comes the friend of the friend who's the victim, but the friend is not there. And then here's you. That's proof that we've been under a spell. That's obvious proof. So, you okay, Dr. G? You went mute.
No, I did, because I was trying to get up on this chair and not make it squeak.
Oh, okay.
I'm on a stool under my kitchen. I just wanted to knock this.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's proof that we've been under some delusion, and that's also proof that if you can't demonstrate that state of mind of your ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is divine common sense, the common senses, 5 common senses that are common to all, then you got 2 that are not so common because most of us don't use them. The 5 is the touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. You can't touch Wells Fargo or the state of Maryland. You can't hear Wells Fargo or the state of Maryland. You can't
Taste.
You can't smell. You can't see. So that means those cases don't make sense. It makes none of the 5 senses. Right. And then you got the 2, which is intuition and insight. And your intuition and insight is supposed to let you know that none of those 5 senses was brought up when it came to the state of Maryland or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. Mm-hmm. There's no claim. There is no one making a claim. All you have to do is rebut the initial claim and dispute the fact that, okay, first and foremost, would you lend me gold or silver? According to Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1 of the Constitution for the United States of North America. And 2, who's making the claim? Because Wells Fargo can't make a claim. Who's going to step up and stand as liable for the counterclaim that's going to be made against Wells Fargo? Who's going to stand there? No one's going to stand there. Just like in the video of when I there was a sister that I was traveling with, and she got pulled over, and I was in the car, and she had our Moorish tags on her car, and she had the Moorish flags on the car. I have it on YouTube. I'm not going to play it, but I'll show what, how they can go to the channel and see it for themselves when they have time. 1 second while I pull it up so I won't have to do too much. And you'll see in the video me and the lieutenant of one of those police departments out Pennsylvania. We were going back and forth in regards to traffic stop. A lot of people were already seeing it, but for those that haven't, you can go hold on. You can go to the YouTube channel Enforce the Constitution. And it's right here. Hold on. And I pretty much, he was pretty much challenging me to see, if I was using my divine common sense. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to all of what he's saying, and then listen to how I'm responding to him. I'm not teaching him something that he doesn't know. He made the narrative, okay, what if you rob a bank? Can you then say, oh, I'm a consul general, so I can't be charged? No, I said no, because if I was to rob a bank, there's an actual victim. The victim would identify himself, and the victim would be the plaintiff. The victim could be the president of the bank. Nevertheless, in a traffic stop, there is no victim. He said, well, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is the victim. And I said, okay, well, who's going to come to stand on the stand before this alleged venue that would have jurisdiction? Who would come to stand as the state of Pennsylvania? And he said, well, I'm the representative, so I would be coming as the witness. And I said, yeah, you would be a witness, meaning you will come in your corporate capacity and liability can't reach you because you're a witness to the plaintiff. You're not the plaintiff. He said, correct. He said, correct. They already know this. This is a mind control. It's a strong delusion, also called a deception. The deception is we think corporate artificial persons have the same rights as humans. So when they send us instruments in the name of corporations, just like in the movie Wizard of Oz, everybody was scared of this big hologram called the Great Wizard of Oz. until the dog spelled backwards is God, until the dog pulled back the curtain and revealed the foreign hybrid European colonist man hiding behind the curtain. That's no different than the CEO and all of the other representatives of Wells Fargo or state of Maryland, state of California, state of New York, state of Chicago, Illinois, etc. And they're hiding behind that corporate person. And they're sending the instruments in the name of corporate person. That's called inducement to fraud. And this is the video. Consul General Lamont Maurice dismisses traffic stop under consular jurisdiction on 2/5/2022. And you all can go to that and see it for yourself. It's a good study, but I did that and I started recording in the middle of our conversation going back and forth. He was actually coming back from his police cruiser when I started the recording. And I recorded it for the sole purposes of study material because I've been traveling without a driver's license and I've been traveling with people without a driver's license. It's just that we're trying to promote this for everybody because we do know and we are well aware of people attempting to exercise these rights and these powers, and they're met with opposition. I was met with opposition. But I also know now that I know what I know, studying what I've been through, I've learned that my first traffic case was dismissed because I allowed the driver's license to be expired before I exercised my right of travel. When I got kidnapped in at Montgomery County and held in Montgomery County Detention Center, and I didn't have any forms of ID, but I also didn't have anyone on the outside that was competent enough to assist me. So the de facto judge says, during the bond hearing, I denied the bond hearing because I was like, look, if it's at $2,500, let's keep it right there so that I can sign under protest with all rights reserved, get out, rescind my signature, challenge the jurisdiction of the venue, and the case is dismissed. That case was dismissed. It's on the website. It's called the fraudulent lien case. Go there. You'll see it was dismissed in 2013. And then you have another one in 2021 that was dismissed. Nevertheless, they held me, and the de facto judge says, you can use since you don't have a state issued ID or driver's license, you can use any piece of mail that has that name on it. And I said, okay, cool, under duress. When the hearing was over and it was time for me to bond out, the commissioner actually told my people, we don't care what the judge says, he needs to have a state issued ID in order to get bonded out, or else we're going to not bond him out. So I'm not going to say who did it. But I ain't even gonna say, I can't say a sister. I'll say a woman, because this ain't my sister. This is a woman. I have to respect her. She's not my sister. She is a woman. Forget it. My mother she's Captain Make It Happen. I learned all of what I know from her. So she went to the Department of Motor Vehicles that very next day, spoke to the supervisor, explained what happened, and they issued a driver's license, state issued ID from DC Department of Motor Vehicles, and my mother went back up to the commissioner and gave her the false identification document and said, "Get him out of there now." And she was tripping. The commissioner like, "Oh, how did you do that? This is issued for today. He's still in here. How was you able to do that?" Doesn't matter. Get him out. Once I got out, I didn't think to rescind or to surrender that state issued ID. I continued to move forward. And as I was moving forward, yes, the case got dismissed. The fraudulent lien case got dismissed. But all of these other cases started coming about. And that's when I started getting harassed even more. It wasn't until I had a instrument from the Department of Motor Vehicles, right? And then that instrument actually expired in 2021. So the whole time I was in prison for the Charles County case, for those 5 years, that instrument was still active, even though I was doing the documents. They give you a hard time if you have that instrument, that false identification document called the driver's license and the personal identification document. No, you do not need to rescind the birth certificate. Leave that business alone. It ain't got nothing to do with you. But when it comes to the driver's license or the state issued ID, it'll be in your best interest to surrender it and get a receipt. And if you want to know what the receipt looks like, an example can be shown on the website, enforcetheconstitution.org. Click on surrender the license, and you'll see the several receipts of some of the Moors at our jurisdiction as well as at other jurisdictions that surrendered the license. We're in the process of doing that with other Moors now that are working with us. We started a committee between us here at DC and Maryland, as well as the Moors at New York and other places. And we're all either surrendering the license or state issued ID, or we're getting a receipt from the Department of Motor Vehicles showing that that license or state issued ID is expired. You know, and that's my suggestion to all Moorish Americans that are active. Don't be too active when you still are on their records clinging to principles that delude to slavery. And those instruments are principles that delude to slavery. All right. And then this will also force everyone to learn how to identify themselves or get comfortable with identifying themselves with their national identity card. All you got to do is prove that the national identification card is how you identify yourself by law. You have to prove it. Now, most might say, no, I don't. Well, the Secretary of State letter says if you don't, they're going to class you as a Moorish subject by operation of law. So you don't have to, but it's suggested. I know they probably saying a lot, but hey, we got facts over here, so and we active. You know what I mean? So whatever y'all saying, I hope you can prove it. And then here's the other thing, like if we all know who the opponents are, why are we still attacking Moors that's active, that got facts? You know, that you know what I mean, that got success stories. Why are we attacking unless you're working with them? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you dispute something that was already done? It's already been shown. But like I said, they're going to show themselves off.
I don't know. Look,
yeah,
I'm trying to be calm and not emotional.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, Dr. G. Hey, listen,
y'all
I'm in the field.
Look, I'm gonna go back here and make me a sandwich or something while you.
Hey, look, Dr. G, I'm in the field, so I actually am on the phone with not a lot of the trolls, but a lot of the people that are having a hard time understanding it. And that is alongside of why the cost for the services are the prices, because
you see that in the chat, don't you? You got some folks
talking about the cost.
Talking about the cost. I've seen. Hey, then somebody else complained about what you didn't give their mother back. But see, those are the type of things they need to take that up with you.
Yeah, they got to take it up with me. And as far as I'm concerned, the good thing about Cash App, it's a financial statement. So I remember having to refund some people, but anybody that makes that claim, let's bring it to me, and I'm going to go on Cash App to see if the fiat was refunded. But I already knew how to keep a financial statement. You know, I learned actually a financial literacy through the Rich Dad company, Rich Dad Poor Dad, before I got into this movement. Yeah. So, you know, I learned how to keep receipts back then. And the other side was I worked for the United States Department of State as a federal employee, not no damn agent. Don't try to run with that. Oh, he's an agent. See, like, oh my God.
You've been very open. And from the very first time you ever came on the show. Matter of fact, I looked at the date, and the last time you were on the show was exactly 3 months ago, April 5th. Mm-hmm. Of this year. But the very first time you ever came on the show, we were covering your 5 years. So if I put 5 years in prison, maybe they don't know the backstory. You didn't kill anybody or anything. It was, exercising your right to, the state and some other stuff that they didn't tell about. they twisted the cases up together. But you gotta, you learned a lot while you were there. You had a lot of time to study and begin and prepare yourself for the work that you're doing now. So everybody's got some. I don't like using the word history because I believe legacy because his Tory is his, not ours.
Yeah, his
so
Tory.
I already made that there, his and Tory. So legacy. And I just like Canaan Wars. I don't know if that's Grand Sheik over there, Cujo or whatever, is trying to emphasize and call me pastor, especially since the NMO person did an expose and said that I was a pastor. I'm pastoring and taking folks' money or fiat, and because he found something on what do you call it? USA churches that my staff put on there almost 20 years ago, and we never took it off. And apparently they updated their website, he said 2022. I didn't even know it. And it not me. Why would I do that? I've been very transparent about it. For any of you on here that are new, anybody here is new and has never heard my testimony. I started out as a pastor, apostle. My doctorate is in theology. I did that until I had a wake up in December 18th, 2010 to be exact. That is almost 12 years ago. So like I said, some of his research is good, but some of your stuff is dated. And to call me pastor and to put it in caps to try to, I am.
They trying to find. Yeah, it's like they go through, like I've seen the same stuff. They go through the website and try to find, like you missing all of these dismissals and all of this, but you try to find. Well, look how much he charged for CMOS. That should be a crime. But hold up, Dr. G,
look how much they do for this. Listen,
go to Bugatti. Go to Bugatti dealership and tell them that's a crime for charging for $5 million for a car, because that is a crime. That should be a crime.
But here's the deal, brother Lamont. If a price amount is too much for somebody, there's nothing that I offer. I'm assuming there's nothing you offer that you twist anybody's arm, or I know I don't, to purchase. You want to know how much? Matter of fact, I discount a lot of stuff. I discount what I can discount. But if it costs me this and that much to ship such and such, then that's what that is. But folks that just pick for stuff like that, go get your own. I mean, you got folks got their own. Folks are trying to pull people to their channels. They use this channel because that platform, because they know at least there'll be a couple hundred folk on here. There's about over 5 today. So they use this to grandstand and try to pull folk over. And I don't mind. There's enough folk out here for all of us, but let your content be something of value. Don't be just trying to tear folk up, and don't go.
That's going to help people.
Like, come into my house and you're going to come in my house and talk about me like a dog and dare me to put you out. It's like, and that's how. So, and it's not just this. I see it on other. I would never go on anybody's platform and talk smack. If I don't like something that they saying, I click off. I stop looking at it.
That's desperation.
I don't look.
That's all. And here's the other thing. I put the successful cases. I post those so that people can see it and do those are examples that you can actually use for your case for free. Post it on the website.
But they don't want to. They want you to.
Yeah, they don't want to do it themselves, but they want me to do it. But they don't want me to do it for the price that I'm doing it for. And it's not really the documents. Yeah, I draft the documents and I fit it for your case. But what you really paying for is the service and the training. I train people, but the training consists of you knowing how to read. That's why I'm going to make a part of this new workshop that I got coming up, a requirement for everybody to purchase the book Wardship Dispeller that was drafted by Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey. We are selling that book, and a percentage is going to go to Taj Tariq Bey. And I've been holding on for those books for a while now because I was waiting to do the workshop. I had other things to do. But now that I have a little time to start the workshop will be starting next Tuesday at the Everlasting Life Center. It'll be posted on the website. enforcetheconstitution.org, but it'll be at the Everlasting Life Center next Tuesday. The workshop is basically, I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but it's basically going over the due process of a traffic case that's on the website that anybody in the world can download the quo warranto, default judgment, and writ of error. It's going over the traffic case, and then the next workshop is going to go over a foreclosure case, which includes eviction cases. And in that workshop, I'm going over detailed the documents that's on the website and how you can take those documents, change out the information, use the same words, and execute the document. But most importantly, you have to read the document so that those words that are expressed in writing can come out of your mouth. That's enforcement. If you can't speak it, then why do you think you can write it, sign it, send it off, and they got to respect it if you can't speak it? You have to be able to speak it. So where I'm charging as far as training is I'm training to see if training you to get you to know how to speak it. So when we do the documents, for example, I draft the document, writ of quo warranto. They'll check it to see if there's any errors, if all the information is correct. Then afterwards, they would let me know if I have to change anything or one of the assistants have to change anything or if it's all good, ready to print. They print it, sign it, send it off. Then they're instructed to study it. Soon as they say they studied it and they're good and they understand what it's saying, I question them on it. That's the service. Okay, what is it saying? Give me a brief synopsis. Okay, what points are you making? Okay, why don't they have jurisdiction? Same for the default judgment. Okay, what is the default judgment? What is it expressing? It's an order. Okay, what does the order say? The order says what? To dismiss the case and to pay this cost, right? And whatever else is asserted in the order. That's an order. Then what is the writ of error saying? What is the writ of error used for? Once you get those concepts, now you enforce it. Some people have to actually go to the property because some people was put out of the property. They have to go to the property with the certified or file stamp copy of the documents that was recorded in the case that I assisted them with, and they have to enforce it by changing the locks, going in the property. Soon as the third party interloper that claimed, yeah, I bought the property at the foreclosure sale. Soon as they come with the police, come with your documents and prove your foreign citizenship and prove protection. I have video recordings of people doing that. But that's enforcement. Right. And that's your power. What are they doing? They're enforcing a piece of paper from a record. So what are you doing? Enforcing pieces of paper from a record. That's called public record. Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution says, full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts, public records, and public judicial proceedings of every other state. So once it's made a part of a record, especially in their de facto venues that they call cases in courts, once you got a record, your record that is, from their records, then you enforce it because full faith and credit must be given to it. Now, first and foremost, you got to give full faith and credit to those words. If you don't give full faith and credit to your own words, then why would they give full faith and credit to it? Right? That means you don't even believe in what you're expressing on the document.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it's saying, because you didn't read it with the dictionary. But that's all one has to do. If you don't want to pay the fiat, you still have to pay attention. Either way, you have to pay. Payment is called sacrifice. You can't get something or benefit without the responsibility to it. But people just want the benefit. But you the consul general, and you're supposed to protect Moorish Americans. No, there's two classifications of Moorish Americans: free Moors and subjects. So first, you got to be qualified for consular jurisdiction. I didn't say it, the law says it. You have to be qualified. And then second, you got to know how to read in order to be qualified for real. But you know, and I saw somebody, Dr. G, said 5 years is a drug dealer time. Really? I didn't go to prison for drug dealing. Go look at the old story that not story, but the old recording, the first recording interview, so that you can see what I went to prison for. Or you can go on the website. It wasn't because of the Montgomery County mansion case. It was for a case that I really didn't have anything to do with. I was attempting to protect people for free, violating the divine laws of contract, and those individuals wasn't trying to study at all. They just wanted a free house. Had I known that from the beginning, I wouldn't even have attempted to try to protect them. But, you know, I tried it, and now I've learned my lesson. Don't put up security for food. That says it in Proverbs. So I've been through my lessons. And look, and the good thing about all this, Dr. G, is we all are going to have to go through that rite of passage. All of us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I saw a question here, which I've never heard him say this. I'm looking for it, but it said something about, I can't find it, but it says something like, here, I never heard this. Why does Taj Tariq Bey speak against the Moorish consular court? I've never heard him do that.
Taj don't speak against.
He helped. He was helping and assisting.
He helped establish.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from, but it is what it is. Well,
that's all Taj's been promoting, like years. Consular jurisdiction and consular court.
Yeah, here's
you got the wrong guy. I know who you're talking about, but that wasn't Taj.
How do you get the receipt if you mailed in the license and plates to the Secretary of State?
No, you will contact the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'll say this. The Maryland Department of Motor Vehicles said that you have to actually come in, and there's 2 locations that you got to go to surrender the driver's license. There's several locations, but there's only 2 locations that you can go to surrender the driver's license and the tags, and they will give you the receipt. Just make sure, disclosure, make sure when you rescind the driver's license and the tag, surrender the driver's license and the tag, that they don't put you as the straw name. Make sure they don't do that. Also, make sure that they express voluntary surrender. Here's why. And I'm going to the Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, and we are looking up the term surrender. And this is a further disclosure. The information that's being displayed before everyone is for the people that are looking for it. If you're not looking for it, don't pay attention. If you are, pay attention. If you're not, stop talking trash. You're wasting your time. Or, if that's what you're getting paid to do, keep going. All you're doing is revealing yourself. So here is the term surrender. To give back, yield, render up, restore. And in law, it says the giving up an estate to the person who has it in reversion. That is called escheat, or remainder, so as to merge it in the larger estate. So if they're holding your right of travel in reversion by way of escheat due to the driver's license that you consented to, which is not permission for you to travel, and it is not an identification card, it is a forfeit. It's you gifting your birthrights away. When you surrender it, it says in law, the giving up an estate. What's the state called? It's called the Sister Q Trust Estate, also called the beneficiary, known as the straw man under the 14th Amendment. You're giving up that estate to the person who has it in reversion. That is the person acting as administrator for the motor vehicle administration. That's what you're doing. So you are surrendering. You're giving back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. That's called nationalization. Or you try to hold on to it while you have a while you have a national ID card, that's like trying to serve two masters. You can't do that.
Well, listen, we have gone a little bit over the time, and but I do appreciate, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all that you're doing. Like I said, the that other stuff, you can deal with the folks regarding that, but you have brought a lot of insight and assistance to the platform with regards to uh, your rights and consular, what you're doing as a consul general, so forth. And if folks want to get in touch with you, of course, the information is down in the description, especially on YouTube. And if you don't. It's like don't.
Hey, look, tell them, Dr. G, tell the trolls, keep promoting us.
Yeah, I mean, but
all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, but we wish. Look, I wish everybody the best, even the trolls. I mean, I just I wonder about folks like that. Like like I would be afraid to be like that on a consistent basis. I would be fearful of retribution or some kind of darn karma coming after me. But
yeah, we're starting. Like I said before, we're starting back up the civic classes. We had them going every week, and then it was bi-weekly. Everybody was looking forward. Was looking forward to be part of them again. This time, now that we have other Moors that understand the basic concepts of enforcing the Constitution and that has successfully enforced the Constitution, that I'm comfortable with being around, now we have more security. So we would be doing the civic classes in person at the Everlasting Life Center. That's off of Central Avenue at Prince George's County, Maryland. And the first class will start and commence next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is from 7 to 9:45 p.m. And we are going over the traffic, the due process of law in regards to the traffic cases that are on the website. So we won't have no excuses. So it'll be strictly, you are making a excuse. You want people to do stuff for you, and you don't want the responsibility that comes with the benefit, because now there's YouTube videos of classes, civic classes, of us going over the documents on the website so that everybody can do it themselves. And if you still want the training, yes, the cost is what it is. I ain't even gonna put it out there. It's what it is. All of y'all that did the consultation know what the costs are, and you also should know. I didn't meet anybody that said, "Oh man, that's steep." All the people that that I told it to, they understood why I charged that much. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have to get it, but I charge that much because that's my service, and that's the energy that I think is equivalent to me doing the service for you. It's this is like, first of all, reading is draining, let alone reading stuff with a dictionary and you got to look up every single term. I had to do that in order for me to come up with these documents. Guess what? So do you. Just because I wrote them for you doesn't mean you can just sign it and not read it and not take the response. You still have to take the responsibility. You just have someone to train and coach with, because I didn't have anyone to actually train with. But my coach was Taj Tariq Bey, and I don't call him often because I know he's busy doing the work, and I'm busy doing the work. But I call him; he gives me advisory and advices, and I move forward. That's my coach. But I offer coaching and also training. And a lot of people get stuck at this point. And I ain't gonna be too long, Dr. G. A lot of people get stuck at the point of when they dispute the mortgage company, alleged mortgage company, which is really their representative, still send paperwork. You got to pay or else we're going to take you to foreclosure. If you study Title 12 United States Code 95A, paragraph 2, that part where it says, and no person shall be held liable in any court for anything done in pursuance of and in reliance on this section, they all dismiss those debts under discharge the debts under Title 12 USC 95A paragraph 2. Raise that they can't take the person to court, even though they're talking about an artificial person, corporate person, and the court is de facto. It says no person shall be held liable in any court because you disputed the debt. There is no debt. There is no person claiming that there is a debt. There is nothing that was lent to you. There is no title that was conveyed to you. There was absolutely nothing but a forfeit. You giving up your birthright. And a lot of people get, because they still in the mindset of giving the opponent full faith and credit. Their words, full faith and credit. Well, why didn't they send us something saying that there's no more debt? You sent them something saying that there was no more debt. Now give it full faith and credit. Or else they're going to keep sending stuff to you until you contract with them again. And if you contract with them again, then you just made your process void until you reclaim it. You got to reclaim it again.
Let me ask you this real quick. When you say now give them full faith and credit, what do you mean by that?
Meaning full faith. Full faith is full reliance. Full credit is full credibility. When you give full faith and credit to public acts, the public act is a public action. It's not just an act passed by the legislator. No, the actions that you do in public, right? Then you give full faith and credit to public records. The public records is the records that are displayed on the public. What's the records? Words. You're giving full faith and credit to public to the words on the public record. Then you have full faith and credit to the public judicial proceedings. The proceedings that had to do with an adjudication, you're giving full faith and credit to that. You see? So we think that the full faith and credit has to come from these individuals that call themselves government or that are pretending to be government. We're giving their words full faith and credit. We've lost full faith and credit in our own words. So we do these documents, send these writs off, send these default judgments off, send these writs of error, writs of habeas corpus off, and just expect them to just do it. If they don't do it, go up there and force them to do it. You ain't pissed off enough yet. I reached that level. That's why people that be talking trash, I'm not there. I ain't there. I know who my opponent is. And if you get on their side and get in my way, then you're going to feel the wrath that they feel. And they feel wrath. That's why they're not in the way. Because they know I'm not giving up my birthright. Not because I'm special. They know I know how to read and I know how to defend and prove. So, and I'm teaching others. All they're doing with the other people that I'm teaching is challenging them, which is a good thing. Challenge them. Because we all about the challenge. That's a part of our culture. We challenge each other in fighting. We challenge each other when it comes to shooting, when it comes to taking your girl, I took your girl, I took your man. We're all these challenges, but when it comes to the real opponents, we ain't trying to challenge. We want to challenge each other. Well, you a fraud and you this and you. All right, man, look, what about them? You know what I'm saying? What about the people that got you in your predicament? Because you had to pay for that internet service. That's cheap. Yeah, I'm paying for the internet service. Well, rendering energy for this internet service because I haven't had the time to challenge it yet. I'm still training people to speak the words of the Constitution and the treaty. I'm still training on that so that we can do it as a collective. But in order to do it as a collective, we all individually have to be competent because we individually are government. It's called self-government. So as individuals, if we can prove our individual competency, what happens when those individuals, those competent individuals come together? We will find out.
Yep.
Because we're doing it.
Well,
and everybody that's looking to do it with us, reach out, be a part of the classes, the civic classes, and don't make excuses. Get used to not making excuses because we kind of run it over here like kind of like a military boot camp. That's how it's going to be ran because it's serious. And we're not looking for people that's looking for a process for a benefit or see if something works real quick. No, We're looking for people that's pissed off, that's fed up, and that wants answers, and they want to take the power in their own hands. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for equals, not followers. Straight up.
Yeah. So, all right.
Thank you, Dr. G.
Did you also
oh,
want to? Did you want to? Well, I guess we didn't decide to do that. At least to thank everyone who did support.
Oh yeah, everybody that sent their contributions for the fundraiser for the brother Quinn Kabir L. That was being detained. Yes, he has been released. He's been released thanks to you all's contribution. Now, as far as the status of the case, I will say that I'm not in liberty to speak on that yet, not because anybody else says that I'm not at liberty. It's because I said I'm not at liberty. And those things will be addressed at a later date. But the brother is out, and we greatly appreciate all of you all's contribution.
Thank you. Thank you. Because there's
a lot of people reached out to us as well. Like, what happened to the brother Quinn? He's out. Yes, he's out. But we will address that.
Why are we paying bail?
Hey, look.
I may not even know what the case was about and how long, but
so much has been done. And if you want to know or get more information, you can go to enforcetheconstitution.org, click on Rise of the Maurice case on the website, and all of the information that was done is posted on that website, on that webpage. And we will speak on that at a later date.
Just wanted, especially just wanted to have you say that because folks want to know where their finances, whether it was, what happened. Yeah. And I think his consort had to put to it, but there was a nice, maybe almost half of it came in.
Yeah. We raised around 1,700 to 1,800 from the contributions from your platform.
Yep. It was like $5,000 or something that happened.
Yeah, it was $5,000. The ransom was $5,000, and it actually motivated others to that were outside of your platform from his side. I think not family members, I think friends of family members that were able to put up the rest, as well as his consort. And she's been fighting with him the whole time. So we just wanted to let y'all know. So again, thank you so much for being here on the show. And thank you those of you who are faithful. Just as a reminder, I will not. I don't know if you know this. I think I did make it. I'm coming on this Tuesdays that I come on for office hours with Dr. G. Or the weeks when there's no official House of Reawakening Mind. So that's why I'm on this Tuesday. I will not be on next Tuesday, but we will have a Friday show. So we're kind of alternating that. And one more thing. I just so happened to look at the comments. It says, I still say show proof they're getting out, not pertaining to anything the consular court did for anybody. It's another fundraiser. Okay, so for those that want to know about Javar's case, because we issued the same writs of quo warranto, writ of error, writ of habeas corpus for Javar's release. That will be shown on the website, enforcetheconstitution.org. Click on habeas corpus cases. You'll see the certified copy of the instruments issued from Morocco Consular Court. Then you go on the YouTube channel, Enforce the Constitution, and you'll see the video of us going to the venue. We didn't really have to say much. We just showed up, and they executed the release order. They just didn't say, oh, well, we're released according to Morocco Consular Court. Nope. He was released because of the instruments and that was issued. And at the venue, they asked him two things. They said, do you want to put your case in the stet docket? He said, no. Stet docket is basically where they suspend the case until a further date. And then he said, do you know, the second thing was, you know what a stet docket is? He said, yeah, I know what it is, but I don't want it. He said, all right. And then the state's attorney mumbled, state wishes to enter a nulli prosequi. That means a no prosecution. That means the case is dismissed. The case is dismissed because of the last thing that was entered into the record that came from Morocco Consular Court. The certified copy of those instruments, those documents, can be found on habeas corpus cases on the website enforcetheconstitution.org. We got receipts, so try again.
Right. So there, yeah. So yeah, someone's someone's asking how they can become a consul. So I don't know, can they go to your website and reach out to you?
We'll be doing a training for consular officers. I'm doing it in-house right now. And once we have enough consular officers that are trained, then I, as well as the trained consular officers, can begin to train others. But it's pretty much, starts with knowing the meaning of words. So you have to study the words, and you also have to know finance and accounting, because a consular officer is an officer of a commercial character. He knows or she knows commerce. So you can't just say, yeah, I'm a consular officer, and you don't know commerce. The first thing you're supposed to study is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836, because that treaty was for amity and commerce. So if you're a consular officer for Morocco, then and you're doing business at a foreign jurisdiction, which is called a port. When they pull you over at the traffic stop, traffic means commerce. Your window that they're standing at is considered now a port. That's a trade window, an international trade port. Port is short for portal, because there's two foreign jurisdictions that's speaking. Even if you're speaking to a Wells Fargo representative, that is a port. But you would know that if you study the language in the treaty. This is what consular officers know all around the world that are competent. So does policy enforcers, the lieutenants, captains, chiefs, etc., as well as part of the sheriff department, the higher ups in the sheriff department, the higher ups in the FBI, CIA, NSA, U.S. Marshals. They all know the same thing. They know because they are trained to know. They have to know this. In order to know in order to rule, you must know the rules. So they have to know it. And the Consular Notification and Access Manual says that they know it. They're trained on it. So, and for everybody that's upset that I'm doing what I'm doing, blame my mom. I'm a mother's son. and she's tough. So I'm tough.
All right. Well, listen, again, I'm tired. Look, y'all,
I know you reading all these comments.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to look at, and I'm trying to wonder why the music wouldn't play. I don't know whether I did something and erased something, but it says it's here. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Look, I may have lost my music. I may have to re-put it on here. But anyway, thank you so much again, and thank you all. I guess all conversation and so forth in the chat is good, but just let's try to be a little bit more respectful if you can. I'm trying to be.
I know you did a great job, Dr. G. Because
I'm trying to be.
When you was over Taj, you had to though, because it had to be a bar set. So you set the bar.
They on here today, but he not acting up as much. I see him. I see them. I mean, I'm just gonna be, we had a, what do they call it, a standoff. Okay. So I'm like, so if you can keep about where you got it there, brother, we good. I mean, it's always gonna be somebody that disagree, but let's we don't have to be disagreeable.
Right, in the public, especially if we're looking to come together to share information so that other people can get the information and you study it and use it.
Yeah.
But you just want to tear each other apart, like, yeah, y'all this, y'all that. Then what?
Yeah.
Now what? Now what's the information? Where's the remedy?
Right.
Don't listen to him. Just whatever you do, don't listen to Dr. G, Taj, Lamont. None of them. Don't listen to them.
And I believe that there are folks out there. This is my last comment about this. I believe there are people out there that have a lot of knowledge and a lot of information that aren't being heard. You know what I mean? But just because the world hasn't discovered them yet, or if I'm talking to you hasn't discovered you yet, don't be angry. Don't be, don't be disruptive. Display your, knowledge and intellect in a more positive way. And like I always said, my mom always said, you get more with more, catch more flies with was it honey than vinegar. So, be agreeable. You might have more than what we bring out. I'm surely not the, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, so I don't claim to be, but I'm just saying, maybe your turn just hasn't come yet. But if you take a different approach, maybe you'll be recognized instead of being angry, some angry man or angry woman, just, chomping at the bit, like, why are they on there? Because we dare to, step out, but you can do it too and get supported. I mean, I support others for what they do. And I want to support you all, even the haters. I want to support you. Just get positive. Just bring your knowledge out. Like bring your counter knowledge out without saying that you're countering somebody else.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. It might be counter, but you don't have to say it. Because I'm coming against what he said, or I'm coming against what she said. Just bring your knowledge, and it will attract to be attractive to those that it's meant to be.
Yeah, and if you are able to solve a problem, I learned this in finance, financial education. If you're able to solve a problem, people will pay you for it, even though it's not payment. It's an exchange of energy, because that's not money. Right. I knew that you had to work for that energy. So if I'm putting out energy, then yes, you should give the equivalent energy of what I'm putting out. Right. Especially if you're challenging a $400,000 mortgage, right? That ain't really $400,000, but they have you paying energy, marks of attention to them a month, and it's really, they writing it off as the donors as a gift. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's insulting. Why shouldn't you want to learn how to dispute that? And if somebody has that information and they're willing to train you, then why wouldn't you want to convey energy to that individual? I don't want to do business. That's not business. That's not good business. You just want something for free. How are you going to value something that you get for free? And look, I did it, but I already went down that road, and it led me in prison for 5 years. Right. But
they don't know that you're helping somebody else when that happened.
Yeah, nope. I ain't doing it no more. Nope. And I got a website, so no excuse. Anybody can go on there and study it. And like I said, we got the workshop starting next week. We are going to be studying. I'm going to study it with everyone that's paying attention. And yes, it costs for the workshop. It ain't free.
All right. So thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really going. We are really going this time. Look, we are really going this time. I saved my little commercials for the very end.
Dr. G, inviting you to get your Chokeberry Plus today. It is that amazing berry, high in antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antiviral properties. It supports and balances the blood pressure, the blood sugar, weight, and cholesterol. Yes, you can get a 2-month supply today by texting CB3L to 302-345-0500. That's CB3L to 302-345-0500. And get on the path to wellness today. You'll be glad you did. Dr. G here to introduce you to a product that I have fallen in love with called GN Rooted Botanical Hair Serum. If you have dryness of the scalp, dandruff, hair loss, graying, just needing your scalp moisturized and needing to have your hair grow, you want to try this product. It is completely natural, vegan, Has great, even you can see the herbs in the product. You can see it. It's awesome. It is making my hair grow. A lot of hair growth. Haven't had my hair washed in over a month. Don't have the dryness. Don't have the dandruff or any of the things I normally have. Even the gray is starting to diminish, the little patches of gray. Get yourself some GN Rooted Botanical Hair Growth Serum by Sister Lisa Carr. I'm going to put the link down so you can get some. You're going to love it. Man, woman, boy, girl, try this product. I love it. I love it.
Islam.
Islam, have a great night.